Hari Yashodanandana Prajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachahari Jayarādha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayarādha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradha Hari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradha Hari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachahari Yamunatira Vanachahari Jayarādha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayarādha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradha Hari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradha Hari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachahari Yamunatira Vanachahari Jayarādha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayarādha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayarādha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayarādha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Shyam Sundar Radha Shyam Sundar Radhe. Jaya Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Jaya Radhe Shyam. Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Om Vishupad Paramahamsa Gurucaya Sota Satta Sishamachila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jaya Om Vishupad Paramahamsa Gurucaya Sota Satta Sishamachila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki. Sirup Si Sanatan Bhattar Raghunath Jeev Goparabhata Dasa Raghunath Sari Goswami Prabhu Ki. Prem Se Ko Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhar Shivajari Gaura Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopal Gopika Vinod Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Mayapana Dham Ki Jai. Jagannathpuri Dham Ki Jai. Tulsi Maharani Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Ganga Yamuna Devi Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Yaga Ki Jai. Shri Gaunitai Ki Jai. Shri Krishna Pararam Ki Jai. Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Reading from the Bhagavad Gita as it is. 14th chapter, text number 1. śrī-bhagavān uvāca paraṁ bhūyaḥ pravakṣyāmi jñānānāṁ jñānam uttamam yajñātvā munayaḥ sarve parāṁ siddhim ito gatāḥ. Śrī-bhagavān uvāca paraṁ bhūyaḥ pravakṣyāmi jñānānāṁ jñānam uttamam yajñātvā munayaḥ sarve parāṁ siddhim ito gatāḥ. Śrī-bhagavān uvāca paraṁ bhūyaḥ pravakṣyāmi jñānānāṁ jñānam uttamam yajñātvā munayaḥ sarve parāṁ siddhim ito gatāḥ. śrī-bhagavān uvāca paraṁ bhūyaḥ pravakṣyāmi jñānānāṁ jñānam uttamam jñātvā munayaḥ sarve paraṁ siddhim gatāḥ. Matajis. śrī-bhagavān uvāca paraṁ bhūyaḥ pravakṣyāmi jñānānāṁ jñānam uttamam jñātvā munayaḥ sarve paraṁ siddhim gatāḥ. Śrī-bhagavān uvāca, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, parāṁ, transcendental, bhūyaḥ, again, pravakṣyāmi, I shall speak, jñānānāṁ, of all knowledge, jñānam, knowledge, uttamam, the supreme, yat, which, jñātvā, knowing, munayaḥ, the sages, sarve, all, parāṁ, transcendental, siddhim, perfection, itaḥ, from this world, gatāḥ, attained. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Śrī Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada. Śrīla Prabhupada ki. Translation, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, again I shall declare to you the supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection. Purport. From the 7th chapter to the end of the 12th chapter, Śrī Kṛṣṇa in detail reveals the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now the Lord Himself is further enlightening Arjuna. If one understands this chapter through the process of philosophical speculation, he will come to an understanding of devotional service. In the 13th chapter, it was clearly explained that by humbly developing knowledge, one may possibly be freed from material entanglement. It has also been explained that it is due to association with the modes of nature that the living entity is entangled in this material world. Now in this chapter, the Supreme Personality explains that those modes of nature are how they act, how they bind, and how they give liberation. The knowledge explained in this chapter is proclaimed by the Supreme Lord to be superior to the knowledge given so far in other chapters. By understanding this knowledge, various great sages attained perfection and transferred to the spiritual world. The Lord now explains the same knowledge in a better way. This knowledge is far, far superior to all other processes of knowledge thus far explained. And knowing this, many attain perfection. Thus, it is expected that one who understands this 14th chapter will attain perfection. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakayam Chakasurunmiritam Yenam Tasmai Śrī Gurave Namaham Śrī Chaitanya-manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Sayam Rupagadāmayam Dadati Sapadantikam Vandeham Śrī Guru Śrī Yutabada Kamalan Śrī Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sirupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Śrī Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Śrī Vishakandvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dino Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sade Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Paritanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Śrī Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Śrī Advaita Gadadhara Shivajari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this chapter is entitled The Three Modes of Material Nature. Śrī-bhagavān uvāca paraṁ bhūyaḥ pravakṣyāmi jñānānāṁ jñānam uttamam yajñātvā munayaḥ sarve param siddhim ito gatāḥ. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Again I shall declare to you the supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection." So, Krishna is explaining to Arjuna this transcendental knowledge. And here specifically, he's saying jñānam uttamam, the supreme of all knowledge. As we know, Krishna has explained to Arjuna about karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, and then bhakti yoga. And the end of the 6th chapter, he has explained yoginam abhisarvesham madganter antaratmana sarvam bhajatyamam same yukta tamo mataha. That of all these yogis, the best is one, the one who is thinking about me, the one who is engaged with devotion, performing bhakti yoga is the best of all. So here also Purport is explaining the purport that from the 7th chapter to the 12th, so Krishna is giving detailed knowledge about the absolute truth. Actually, it is necessary so by Krishna himself to give this knowledge and to give different angles of vision of how to perform devotional service and about the nature of the absolute truth, so that one may thoroughly understand the subject matter and one may be then thoroughly convinced also and then take it up seriously so that one may advance in spiritual life and get practical realization. Therefore here it is mentioned, so by Krishna himself, that again I'm speaking you this knowledge already I've given you. Practically the essence Krishna already has explained. But again he's telling him here about the modes of material nature and also about the nature of a devotee, the qualities of a devotee, and the supreme destination, the absolute truth, Krishna. Actually, we have to hear again and again and again about the process of devotional service. First of all, that we are not this body, we are a spirit soul. And then again, we have to hear what to do and what not to do. Again and again, we have to hear. And then it may make some impression on our consciousness. And then we may take it seriously. Just like It is mentioned in the scriptures that in order to tell something which is important and so it may make some impression, one should repeat it 3 times. Like Mahaprabhu was quoting one verse from the Vedic literatures, which is applicable to the age of Kali, the process of the chanting the holy names. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam kolam nastyeva, nastyeva, nastyeva gatiranyatha. 3 times explaining what is most important. Hare Nama, the chanting of the holy names. 3 times. So that one may take it seriously, so one may understand. And 3 times, nastyeva, nastyeva, nastyeva. There's no other way, there's no other way, there's no other way. So that is required to impress, because also we know the conditioned soul, even a practicing devotee, so he's trying to be focused, but it's not always easy to be focused. The mind and the senses are going here and there and everywhere. And to keep them focused on Krishna, on the lotus feet of Krishna, it is not so easy. And even, so of course, that we know also Prabhupada, for example, for offering bhoga. He was telling the devotees, when you offer bhoga, you should chant the mantra to the spiritual master. It is pranam mantra. Like for Prabhupada, Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale, Śrīmate A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and then Nama Mahavadanyaya for Mahaprabhu, and Nama Brahmadevaya for Krishna. He was saying you should repeat it 3 times. Again, the same thing is there, because the mind is so flickering, we may chant the mantra and think of something else. But if we chant 3 times, there's a chance that maybe one time we are focused. Another example, it is mentioned that we offer obeisances to the Lord, and then we may attend the attic, and then also it is mentioned we may accept the chanamrit, for example, after darshan, and then it is mentioned one should do parikrama also of the temple, of the deities, out of respect. Again, because we are offering obeisance inside the temple already. And then while we are offering obeisances, we should glorify the Lord also by chanting some mantra. In front of Gonitai, we should glorify Gonitai. Of course, also in the beginning, we learned that we have to offer respect to the spiritual master first, and then to the Lord. And then we may chant Vande Śrī Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Nityananda Sodito Gaudadaya Pushpavanto Chitro Zandoto Mododo. I offer respect to Sisi Gonitai, who are just like the sun and moon who have arisen on the horizon of Gaudadesh. Just like the sun and moon. In a few days now is Ekadashi Titi, the 11th day of the lunar fortnight. The bright or the dark fortnight, the 11th day Ekadashi, and so we are fasting from grains. We try to eat and sleep less as much as possible, and we try to chant more. And we may do parikrama of Vrindavan. And then also, of course, so the point is we may parikrama of the temple. So there it is mentioned also, so we offer respect to Gonitai, and then we offer obeisances, we glorify the Lord. And then still, it is recommended we should do parikrama of the Lord. So that we are focused, or so that we are actually able to surrender more and more. In conditioned state, we are trying to surrender. But as long as we are under the modes of material nature, we cannot surrender, not possible. The mind is taking us here and there, and so we are falling short of being absorbed in Krishna, taking shelter of Krishna, but we are trying. So therefore, many times it is mentioned morning, noontime and evening. If possible, we should go to the temple and see the deities, offer prayers, do parikrama. And again here it is mentioned we may do 3 or 4 times parikrama or 7 times. But even actually you can do 1 time. If you're focused, you can just do 1 time and it's enough. But mostly the conditioned soul is not focused, so he has to do 2, 3 times. So he's sinking in his consciousness, yes, I'm doing parikrama and have to respect the Lord. I'm nothing and Krishna is everything. So that we have to understand. And then we can slowly but surely progress, slowly but surely, when we are actually understanding our constitutional position. We're trying to be humble, but we're also trying, but the real humility is there when we are advanced in spiritual understanding, when we are realized. The Atma Buddhi, when the Atma Buddhi is there, the consciousness, and in regards to the body, even I'm a devotee, I'm a pujari, I'm the president of the temple, I'm a man or woman, so this bodily concept is there, even as a devotee. But we have to transcend that and not only understand theoretically, not only know, I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul, but we should realize. So that is the whole point of Bhagavad Gita from beginning. Krishna is telling Arjuna that you're not this body, you're spirit soul. Why you're lamenting for the Kauravas and even the Gurujan, because they're not following dharma, there's some deviation there. So you're not going to kill them because we're all eternal. So you should not give up the fighting spirit, and you should fight. So again and again we have to hear, again and again we have to perform the different activities. Every day we have to offer obeisances to the Lord. And then eventually we'll understand practically that I'm an infinitesimal spiritual being completely apart from the gross and subtle body. And then we are truly humble. Paripakva dainatva, that is the ripe humility. And then we can advance when we are properly situated. And we can hope of entering the realm of pure devotional service, following the footsteps of the eternal associates of Krishna and Braj. Ragmarg, Raganuga Bhakti. So now we are performing sadhana bhakti, following rules and regulations, but we have to try to enter the spontaneous platform, where we're doing everything spontaneously with love. From the platform of our constitutional position as eternal servant of Krishna. Priti Purvak Murti Seva. So with some loving sentiments, performing devotional service, doing arti or singing for the pleasure of the Lord, chanting japa with loving sentiments towards Krishna, and then there will be reciprocation. So that is, one is the jnān, that is the theoretical knowledge which we have to receive from the spiritual master, who is a representative of Krishna, but then we have to come to the platform of vijñāna, of realized knowledge. And we get a realization by being engaged in devotional service, by constantly endeavoring to attain perfection. So constant endeavor has to be there. That is our constitutional position. Jaiva dharma, jivka dharma. So the occupational duty, so dharma means a religion or the occupational duty. Or that is actually the nature of the soul, is to serve Krishna. That is swadharma, jaiva dharma, sanatan dharma, parodharma, vastav dharma. Real religion, that is service to Krishna. That is the constitutional position of the living entity. That is his nature, his svabhav. It is explained by, there's a book by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Jaiva Dharma, Jivka Dharma. The dharma, the religion, but not only there, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has explained what is the meaning of dharma. In Sanskrit, any word can have different meanings. So dharma means religion. It can be the constitutional position of a thing, not just only of the living entity. But even, for example, the dharma of water. So water is there. So what is actually the characteristic, intrinsic nature of water? It is flowing. Water, it is flowing and supposed to be sweet. Of course, you can get salty water, or the ocean water is salty also. But usually when we speak of water, we mean sweet water, like somebody is asking me, you want some water? I will say yes, and I expect to get sweet water, not salty water. It should be liquid, it should be tasty. It should quench my thirst. So the nature of the soul is to serve Krishna. The nature of water is, the dharma of water is that it is liquid and it is sweet. But sometimes even the water, sometimes due to, for example, the soil, it becomes a little salty. Or the ocean water is there, it is salty. Of course, there's an ocean, we are in Bhumandal, in the earthly planet, earthly realm. And there are actually 7 oceans and 7 dvipas. We are in Jambudvip. The earthly realm, Bhulok. And then there's the surrounding Jambudvip, which is 9 khandas are there, 9 parts are there, and we are in Bharatvarsha, the southern part in Jambudvip. And the north of that is Kimpurush Varsha, and then Ilavrita Varsha, and so on. And then 2 to the north, and 2 or 3 to the north, and 3 to the south, and 1 in the west, and 1 in the east. And then the ocean of salt is there surrounding Jambudvip, not only Bharatvarsha. And this planet we know is only one part of the greater Bharatvarsha. And then there's Plakshadvip, another island that is surrounding the ocean of water, of salty water, which we have. And then there's another ocean there. 7 oceans are there. 1 ocean is sweet water. And then there's an ocean of sugar cane. There's an ocean of ghee. There's an ocean of liquor. So like this. But when we want water, and the natural propensity of, when we speak of water, it is that it is liquid, it is flowing, and it is sweet, quenching the thirst. But sometimes it is changed. For example, when it is very cold. Here it doesn't happen, but in the west, or in the northern part also, in Russia, Siberia, winter is very, very cold. Like here the temperature goes sometimes to 2-3 degrees, sometimes 0, very rare. But in the West, in Europe, -5, -10, -15, in Russia, -20, -25. And then the water in the lakes is frozen. Even you can have a cup of water, you keep it outside, after 1 hour it is ice, because it's so cold. You cannot drink. In Siberia in the winter, and they have thick cloth, and you have to be careful that your nose is not freezing. And your hands also, they have gloves and nicely packed up. So, but if you have the water there, you keep it outside for 1 hour, it is becoming ice, or 2 hours. You can keep the water like this, want to drink, nothing is coming, because it is ice. Vikrit, and the nature changed. Water is supposed to be liquid, but it changed because of the circumstances. And you cannot drink. Then you have to go inside a house which is heated, and it will melt, and then you can drink. Similarly, jiva also, by nature the jiva is there to serve Krishna. That is the natural propensity of the jiva. That is the dharma of the jiva, of the soul, is to serve Krishna. But in association of modes of material nature, it becomes changed. And the conditioned soul is serving family, serving the nation, engage in material activities in the material world. So the nature is changed. Bikrit. But then again we have to engage in devotional service, and then slowly but surely then the spiritual propensity, the natural propensity of the jiva, of the soul, will be there to serve Krishna. So we have to be constantly engaged in devotional service, and then we can realize our true nature, and then automatically the propensity will be there, the natural propensity will be there to serve Krishna with love and devotion. But it takes time, so we have to be very patient. But always engage in spiritual activities. We need this knowledge which Krishna is giving, which the sages are giving. And then we have to apply it in our daily life. And then the realization will come. Krishna, it is mentioned, Śrī-bhagavān spoke to Lord Brahma, jñānam param guhyam me, savijñānam samanvitam. So he's telling him, I'm giving you this knowledge. And within it is the realization, the vijñān. It is param guhyam. It is very confidential. It is uttamam, the greatest. And then Krishna is telling to Lord Brahma also, sarahasya tadangascha grihanam gatitam maya. You please accept it. So you accept this knowledge and also the process, anga. So the limbs of devotional service, and that means you engage in devotional activities, as Krishna is explaining, or of course in Bhagavad Gita, and the great sages have explained that we have to engage in devotional activities. Anga, bhakti anga. And Rupa Goswami has explained 64 angas. First we take shelter of the spiritual master, and then Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, and so on. We hear about Krishna, speak about Krishna, serve Krishna. And then we will get the realization. If you're not engaged in service, then there's no realization, practical realization. We hear, then we apply this knowledge, and then there will be realization. So that is a process. And in this way, jñātvā munayaḥ sarve. So many great sages, they attained perfection. Parāṁ siddhim, and the transcendental or the highest perfection. So even in this world, one can attain that by being always engaged in devotional service. Iha yasya hare dasya karmanamara sagira nikilo ashavayavasta so jivan mukta sochate. If one is engaging body, mind and word in the devotional service of the Lord, then one becomes liberated even within this world. So the great sages, they attained this position, but not only great sages. Even Krishna is saying to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, even so the Brahmanas, they are more quickly able to grasp the subject matter and become liberated. But even those who are not Brahmanas, even the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and even the Shudras, even women, so they may also attain perfection by being engaged in devotional service and attain the supreme position, param siddhim. So we should try to attain perfection, if possible in this lifetime, or try at least to make as much advancement as possible in this lifetime. So the process is there, and in the age of Kali, by Mahaprabhu's mercy, it is simplified. Simply by chanting the holy names, one can make so much advancement in spiritual life, one can attain perfection. But some rules and regulations are there to be followed. What to do and what not to do. And so we have to acquire knowledge, and then we have to try to become detached from material activities. So therefore also, like we are in Purushottamas, So we should do a little austerity and we should increase our spiritual activities. Especially also on Ekadashi, Punyatiti. We should chant more, we should reduce as much as possible eating and sleeping. Or Amavasya Titi, Purnima Titi, these are known as Punyatiti. Auspicious days or titis, Ekadashi, Amavasya and Purnima, full moon day and night. But every day we have to be engaged in devotional activities. But some days we have to make an extra endeavor. Some month also, like Purushottam Mass and Kartik Mass, we have to do some extra endeavor. As much as possible. Especially when one is younger, in old age it is difficult. In old age we simply have to try to maintain whatever we have been able to do. But while one is young, one has to try to make as much advancement as possible. Get as much knowledge as possible and try to be renounced as much as possible. Because in old age it will be more difficult. But Krishna is merciful and Krishna is always happy, helping. But we have to endeavor sincerely and then there is a reciprocation. Hare Krishna. Any question? No questions. So today is Ekadashi, we should chant more. I have actually another meeting, I have to give another class, so we'll stop here and we'll chant more. And next time we have prasad. Hare Krishna. Yes. Devotional activity should be every day, every time, yes. Mechanical, yes. Yes, that is true. Many times one becomes mechanical in one's chanting japa even. We're doing, the tongue is moving, and we're trying to hear, but sometimes it is mechanical, and the mind, the consciousness is not there, it's going somewhere else. Even while worshipping the deities sometimes, it may be mechanical. So how to avoid? So we have to, ultimately it is all the process of being conscious of Krishna. Krishna consciousness. So we have to understand that Krishna is present while we are chanting. We're chanting the Maha Mantra, Krishna is present. We have to understand. And so therefore we have to be conscious and we have to be attentive. Just like we are speaking together. So now then we are conscious of each other and then we are not distracted by others, or we should not be. If somebody else is coming, hey, Hari Bol, and I'm talking to somebody, I should not be distracted. Otherwise, if now we are talking, somebody else is calling me, Hari Bol. Yes, Hari Bol. And I forget about you, how you will feel. You will feel not good, right? So similarly with chanting Hare Krishna, that is actually an address to Radha and Krishna. Hare, we are addressing Srimati Radharani, oh Srimati Radharani, please help me, please engage me in the service of Krishna. Oh Krishna, please accept my devotional service. And so we have to be conscious while we are chanting that Radha Krishna there. So for that actually we have to pray to Guru also and to Gauranga, so that we can be really conscious while chanting. And then we have to be also remembering the holy Dham, Vrindavan Dham. Because Krishna is always in the Dham. So we have to be conscious of the Dham. So many things are there. So we have to be absorbed in that in a conscious way. We have to chant the holy name. And not just chanting and hearing, but we have to be conscious while chanting. Conscious of Krishna, before that even conscious of Guru and Gauranga, and then we can chant properly. Deity worship, same principle. Yes. Yeah, but the same thing is there. Same thing, you have to be conscious that Krishna is there. And then you have to So we have to be conscious that Krishna is there, and you have to be in the exchange with Krishna. Even if you are in a hurry, then you tell Krishna, my dear Krishna, I'm sorry, my children have to go to school, I have to quickly do the attic, but please don't mind. And Krishna will not mind. But you have to be conscious and you have to speak to Krishna. Like somebody else is maybe there and then you have to take care of things, then you have to tell the person, I'm sorry, I don't have much time, I have to do something else also. No, but if you have to speak to Krishna and you have to explain to Krishna, you have to be conscious of Krishna while worshipping Krishna. Krishna is there and is waiting for you to speak to him, to reciprocate properly. He's there to reciprocate, but we have to do our part. And mostly that is lacking, and then it is mechanical. Conscious that Krishna is not there. You don't have full faith that Krishna is there. And therefore you're doing other things which you feel are more important. Because we are attached to material things. That is a problem. And then it becomes mechanical. But you have to be conscious of Krishna, that is actually there. And then it will not be mechanical. Okay? Hare Krishna. So we have to stop here. Śrīmad Bhagavad Gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.